Michael Plusek here, and in this video we're gonna take our work from the last videos about sale, the theories, and we're gonna take them into practice. This is a very important video. There's a lot of great and important knowledge and things in here that will take you from the theory to the practice, and all of this is the foundation for really creating a sales system where you have no limits at all. So in this video what we will cover is, first of all, we'll talk about testing your theories and making conclusions for now. And then I'm going to talk about the offer and how to create a very powerful offer. And I'm going to talk about the value of packaging. And then I'm going to talk about the root of the whole sales system, the one sentence. And after that, I'm going to help you to create your sales funnel. So we got a system, you got a simple system how to attract customers, how to take them through your funnel, and how to create new clients, contracts, whatever you call it, more money in. And then I'm gonna share some very powerful techniques for you to contact potential new customers. So let's go and dive into this one. First of all, testing our theories or your theories and make them into conclusions. That's what we're gonna do now. In the last video about sales, about your ideal customer, you did thinking, you did research with Google, and you found what you could, and you made your own theory. Now we're going to take this a step further, and we're going to get some conclusions here so we can begin to craft your sales funnel, your sales system. So what you should have done by now is you should have done your niche work, you should have done your market questionnaire, and you should have done your biography of the perfect customer or client, perfect order. And all of this is theory. This is things that we have in our mind from the information that you gathered. This is things in your mind. So you got like an idea now. You think, okay, here's a problem, here's a niche, here I think I can help them with this. All of this is going on in your mind. And of course you did the research, you did Google, and you did talk to some few people maybe, but we're going to take this a step further now. Because now it's time to really investigate, to get some real life data and put them into our theory. So if you're already in business now and working with your customers, you can ask your customers. And if you do like that, I would suggest you to ask the customers where you think that's your niche, that's your perfect customer, which means the customers that you really want. That's the customers that you want to ask the questions we're going through. And I would say ask 15 or 25 customers in your investigation in getting data in. And I'll show you how to do this in a couple of minutes, but find out who are the 15 to 25 customers that you're going to talk with. And I would really suggest you, if you are already in business and you want to make it, to refine your sales funnel, your sales system, I'll suggest you to stop or pause the video right now and then just write down who are the 15 to 25 customers that you want to contact and ask questions to. Just do that right now, then come back. And if you did that, if you're in business, that's good, and welcome back. And if you're not already in business, or you are changing your niche or your ideal customers, really want to get this sharp, then go find the people, go find your niche, and you can use Google or whatever. In Denmark we have we can put in registration number for a company, and we can see some things about this company. I'm not sure if this is the same thing for other countries, but I know there's different kind of databases. But you can use Google. So let's say your niche was painting companies. You're going to help them somehow. You're going to help painters to relieve the pain in their shoulders, if that was the problem. Well, then figure out, maybe you know a couple of people in your network that are painters, or you know people that are painters, or else go with Google or the database and then go find 15 till 25 people or companies from your niche. And with this example, find 15 to 25 companies, painting companies. Just find them and then ask them questions. And for you, I would really pause the video right now and then go to Google and search for 15 to 25 people or companies in your niche, from your niche here, the theory that you worked with. Just find them, write them down, and I'll show you a good tool for this later on here, but write them down on a piece of paper so far. So just to get you moving on this one, just pause the video and spend like 5 or 10 minutes doing this right now, and then come back. And we'll come back. So if you're not already in business or changing it, or you are in business and just want to refine it a little bit, you should have put down 15 to 25 people or companies from your niche that you want to talk with, and you want to ask them the questions. We're going through that in a moment. This is really from theory to practice. So you did your homework, and if not, well, really stop the video right now and then go back and do the 3 questionnaires: the niche, the market, and the biography. And if you didn't do what I just suggested to, put down 15 to 25 people, well, again, pause the video and do that right now. It's very important to do this work, because now you're going to ask your market. So why is it that we ask questions? Well, we want to understand the niche. So if your niche is painters and this is a new niche for you, you really want to understand. You got a theory right now, but what's going on in their mind? Well, like I showed you before, let's go back to this here. This is all your mind, but that's theory. So we really want to figure out what's going on. We want to understand the needs, what's going on in their mind, what's their feelings, what's their problems and desires. We talked about that, but now we're going to ask them. Now it's not about our thoughts anymore. We're going to ask them. And we're going to figure out, that's our goal here. We want to find that 1 or 2 things, that pain or problem that's in our niche. Now, I mentioned painters before. I'm not sure if this is a problem, but it could be that you find out talking to painters that they actually do have a problem with their shoulder. So, okay, that could be a problem, and it could be that you want to be the expert of helping painters to get that problem away. So that's why we ask the questions. We want to find out, what is the problem? What is their desires? And if you have a business, shop business, whatever you're doing, and you do have customers, but you want to take it to a whole new level, do all of this. But then ask your customers, your ideal customers today, the ones that you really love to work with. Find out, what are their pain and problems? What are their desires? And find out that 1 or 2 things that really goes again and again, because that's where we can help them. So that's why we ask the questions. So all in all, it's about figuring out what is that problem where you can help them. Help. Here comes the word again. You got it? What is that problem where you can help your niche? That's what we're going to find out. So some ideas how to do this. First of all, if you know them, it's obviously a little bit easier, because you can contact them right away and say, hey friend, this is Michael calling here. I just want to ask if you got like 10 minutes or 15 minutes, because I got some questions for you about your work and all of that, to see if I can help people like you. And you can also send them a short email or a Facebook or LinkedIn message and say, hey friend, this is Michael here, how are you doing? I was wondering if I could lend your ears, if I could lend your mouth, if I could lend you in just 15 minutes. I got some pretty cool questions. I'm doing some research. I want to figure out what's going on in your industry. Something like that. I just invented that. And if it's people that you don't know, from not knowing from your network, you can still do this. And I got clients asking me, okay, Michael, what's the best thing here? Would you contact friends, or would you contact friends or network, or would you contact some like cold callings? Would you contact someone you don't know? So there's good things and bad things about both things. It's easier to contact people from your network of friends, but the bad thing here is that, and that might be a problem, you don't know if they're gonna be totally honest with you, because your friend, and it might be that there will be some emotions involved, or they maybe don't want to tell you about their problems. So there's good and bad with this. What you could do, and I did that with some really good results. I called like 5 of my network and asked them if we could do a 15-minute talk interview, and they said, yes, sure, Michael. So we did that, and I asked them, how was that call? And what you'll know and notice is that they really love this. We're coming back to this later on, because you're actually very interesting in figuring out how to help them. People like to be helped. So probably you're gonna have very cool, very nice, very interesting talks. Just be open and honest with them. And then in the end of the talk, you could ask them like this, and that's what worked very good for me. Say, hey, did you enjoy the talk like I did? And they probably say, yeah. And then just ask them, you know what, I'm doing a little bit more research here because I want to get some more data. So could you please help me? And do you have like 3 or 5 people from your network in the same industry as you, that I could get their name and their email, phone number, and I can contact them and tell them that I've been talking with you and we had a great talk, and you mentioned them. Would that be okay? The cool thing here is that worked really good. So that will give you, like, if you can find 5 people that you know, have the talk with them, and they will give you 3 till 5, then you're up till 15 or even 25 people. And then just go on with the next one. So if you didn't get to the 25 or 15, just ask the next one when you had the call. Okay, even if you don't know them, but you had a good call. So did you enjoy the conversation like I did? And thank you very much. Okay. Could you please help me, because I want to do a little bit more research. Could you please help me and let me know like 3 to 5 people from your network who's in the same industry that I could contact, and that I could tell them that you gave me the name. And probably they will say yes. I didn't have a no yet. So that's kind of an approach to this, because you really want to take your theory and test it with people. So before we are crafting an offer, we come back to that. We want to figure out what is their problems in the niche. So I went a little bit into the talk here too, but it was just like contacting them and then schedule a call with them. Probably if you call up someone, they don't have the time right now. Could be they do, but normally it would be more polite to say, okay, so would it be good if I call you later today or tomorrow? And then schedule a call with them where they can sit and be very focused with you, and you're focused too. And then some good advices too. Of course, thank them before and after, and connect with them. Connect with them on Facebook and LinkedIn and whatever you're using. We're coming back. I will tell you some powerful techniques. But you want to connect with all the people that you talk with. You want to put them in your network, because these, even though that was not the purpose right here, these are potential clients in the future. I'll tell you much more later on, but just make sure you connect with them. People like to be connected. They want to network too. Don't hesitate with asking them. They just say, hey, thank you very much for the call. I appreciate it. And thank also for giving me 3 of your friends. I will definitely contact them, and I will be very, as I did with you, I will be very polite, and I look forward to get to know them. And just, I'm connecting with you right now on Facebook or LinkedIn, whatever, because I do that with all the people that I have these calls with. So I wish you great luck, and let's just stay together here. Stay connected. Got it? So the 15-minute call, I did go a little bit into this, but here's like a standard that you could use for this. You need to put in your own words, obviously, and you need to make it like yours, but don't spend too much time on this. Just get it done and get the calls. It'll go very smoothly. But this is like a standard for how you could do this. First of all, introduce yourself. Then state the agenda. Then ask your questions. And then I always suggest to go light into the conversation with this one, and then dig into the answers more. And then at last thank them. So introducing yourself could be something like, hey, this is Michael. I am calling from a company called Your True Potential, and that's the introduction. Don't spend much more time than that on this. Just let people know right away who you are, where you're from. And then state the agenda. So that could be something like, sorry, I went a little off with that one. Just let me come back here. So introduce yourself, because this is the 15-minute call. I was going a little ahead of myself here. So introduce yourself. Hey, this is Michael from Your True Potential. Same thing, but you're going into the 15-minute call. So then you state the agenda. Thanks for taking the time. And you could even say, as I mentioned when we emailed or when we had our short call, I want to ask you some questions about your business to figure out if there's potential for me to help whatever the business is, like yours. So it could be painters. If there's potential for me to help painters like your business. And then just dive into it. Ask the questions. You want to ask questions, and I'll give you some more help here after. Ask the questions to find out about their problems, their pains, their desires. And I'm going to show you a tool for this in a moment. But that's what we are looking for, because we are looking for where can we help our niche. And then start light with the questions. So what I mean by light is normally it's not a very good thing just diving into, so what is your biggest problem? Just get the conversation going. Ask some questions about their business, and then you dig into the answer. So it could be questions like, okay, so tell me a little bit more about your business. And they will start to talk, trust me. And then, okay, how many are you in the team? How much do you do your own work? Questions that's gonna direct you into your theory about the problems. But you don't want to tell them the problems. You want them to come freely. You don't want to be too specific with your questions. Because back to the example here, if it's painters and your theory is that they got shoulder problems, don't just tell them, my theory is that you got shoulder problems. How's that? Because it's gonna probably, you won't get the gold out of the conversation. So you might go a little around, have a couple of questions. One question could be, okay, tell me about your company, how many people works there. Okay, tell me a little bit more about your day, to figure out how much do they actually do the work, the painting work themselves. Might be they have a big team and they don't even paint. So if they don't do that, maybe you'll figure out that, well, their biggest problem is that they got a headache because they have a team problem and not a shoulder problem. So if you said, okay, do you have a shoulder problem? And they said no, well, then it's a little bit difficult to get the real goal out of the conversation. So just ask the questions to get them to learn them, and then ask questions like, okay, what do you mean by? So let them tell them what's going on, and trust me, people love this. And then ask questions like, okay, so how does that affect your business? Because we want to find out the pain here. And this is a great question too when you're into, okay, so maybe a person says that he actually does have a shoulder problem, and the big issue for him is that he knows that it's a big problem because there will be maybe 2 days per week where he can't do his work, or he's maybe not doing it perfectly and this cost him clients or something like that. And then ask question, okay, so how much does this cost you? And let that person figure out. Maybe he says, well, actually, if it's 2 days per week where I can't work, that's going to cost me like 10,000 per day. That's 20,000. That was Danish kroner, so 2,000 euros per day or per 2 days. And then calculate, okay, so how much is that per month for you? These are golden questions, because we're going to find out how big is this problem for them. And then you could also ask something like, okay, does this affect other areas of your life? And this guy, again, if we go with the shoulder problem, which is just an example, and he said, well, yeah, I love to play tennis, but actually I can't play tennis anymore. Okay, and what does that mean to you? Yeah, it's really stressing me because I can't do what I love to do. Okay, so and does that affect any other areas of your life? Yeah, actually it does, because I got this. I'm getting stressed about it, so I can feel right now that it's affecting my family at home. Okay, so now you see we're getting more and more into some pains. That's actually what's the cost of this? Cost in financial things, but also cost in emotions and stress and all of this. This is so important for you to find out these things. Just ask the questions. Don't put it on them, the answers. Just ask questions. What do you mean by that? How does that affect you? What does this cost you? Does it affect any other areas of your life? Really get into it and connect with these people. It's also a great practice for what's going to happen very soon. So when you're finished, thank them and just connect with them. As I told before, connect with them on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and all of that. And probably some of them will say, you know what, that's very interesting what you're doing, and if it could be that they come back to you and they want to be a customer of yours. Don't put this in the conversation. Just let them think about this. So again, this is powerful with the video thing here, because you can stop it, you can look at it, you can write your questions from here. You can write your questions, but also your agenda from here, and you can go back to this video again and again. So this was like, how is this 15-minute call to 15 to 25 people or companies from your niche. So let's just look at the, let's see if I can get this here. Look at the niche market questionnaire again. Let's see here. Yeah, we got this here. So what, you got your theory here. What keeps them awake at night? What do they feel? All of that. You got your theory here. So you written down what you believe from your research and your own mind. And have this in mind when you are doing your questions. That's exactly what you're gonna build now. Have this in mind. So because we want to really figure out these things. One thing is theory. Now we're gonna figure out what's happening inside them. What's happening in their life. So we want to figure out, what do they fear? What are they angry about? What keeps them awake at night? Their daily frustration, trends going on. what they secretly desire, and if there's a way they make decisions and their language. You did the theories here, so that's good. That theories. Now we want to really figure out, talking with them, what is actually going on. So what I did here is I have a questionnaire for you two here. So let's figure this one out. Yeah. And both of these sheets, you got the one from before, and you should have been doing your own sheet. Now this one, niche from theory to practice worksheet. This is downloadable just beside the video here. So let me explain this, because this is very important. This is like a pre-market, getting data in your theory, your market, your niche. This is the ask 15 to 25 potential customers from your niche, and then put in the data in this worksheet. So let me explain. Each question, put in the name. So these are questions that the questions we come down to. It's some question I put in, but you need to find out what are the questions you want to ask. So, and the answers are also here, sorry. So it could be like, you put in again, what is your niche? So if your niche was painters, okay, good. What is their current situation? And this is just shoulder pain. And what is their, this is your theory, all right? So this is what you put in. This is your niche, and this is the current situation. So now, these things from here, this is, you put those things in the niche market questions. Now here is the things, this is the real market we're talking to. So now we put in the data here. So let's say you spoke with, let's say, Peter, and you asked your questions and you took your notes, and we want to figure out with Peter what is his problem, fears and pain. So let's say we go back to this, and Peter says, well, shoulder, let's make it even more powerful, shoulder pains. That's actually his problem. And we could go further with this, and we could say fear of not being able to paint anymore. Okay? What keeps them awake at night? We say, okay, Peter again. This is from the talk with Peter. Okay, what keeps Peter awake at night? And you figured that out. Maybe you even ask at the right point in your conversation with Peter, you ask that question. And Peter says, worst case, not being able to work, no dream fulfilled, and no money. So that could actually be that Peter, he tells you that, well, from the conversation, sometimes he wakes up at night and he just lying there in sweat because he's very afraid that someday he might even be able to work more because of his shoulder problem. Okay, so what is their desired situation? We go again. Peter, he says, well, let's do it shorter, would love to have no shoulder pain. Sure. And what version is this theory? So this is just, let's do it like this. Let's say this is the first one, because that's what you're doing. And what we're doing now is we're talking with the market, and when we got a conclusion, which we're going to do right now, we're gonna go and test it in the market. And then after doing maybe at least 30 calls, 40 calls, we're gonna see, okay, how is this working? So we're gonna come back later and you're gonna work with this one again. So when you did like 30, 40 calls, you will grow your business, you will learn a lot from the market, and then, okay, next time you're gonna sit down and say, okay, what have I been learning? And then you're gonna do the same sheet, you can just download it and say, okay, this is number 2 of my theory. Got it? So let's work on with Peter here. So the thing is, what we want to figure out is where is Peter now? We know that his shoulder is hurting him a lot, and he's very afraid that he can't work anymore. And what is his desired situation? We put that in here. He would love to have no shoulder pain so he can build his business. That's his desired situation. And as you might remember, this is very important. What we want to figure out is where are you the vehicle that can help Peter or your clients to go from A to B, from their current situation to desired situation. Where can you help and solve their problem? So if this is something that you're good at, now this is just an example that you can help with shoulder pains. So this was Peter. You can just put down here, okay, from this one, I can help Peter to remove his shoulder pains. Boom. I know that now. Good. So that was from Peter. And again, then we have the next call, and we still have the same niche. Don't do anything with these two things. And the current situation. So we talk now with, let's see here. We have a painter called Lisa. We talk with her. So we're doing the same thing. Okay. Also we see shoulder pain, and we go. I'm just going to show you. So I'm sure you got it. And we say, Lisa, what is the thing here? Worst case could be bankrupt. Okay. And the science situation, Lisa, could be, again, no more pain. And you just continue this. Still is the number one version here. And then we go with Lisa. Okay, Lisa, it's the same thing. So, and I actually did something here. Let's do it like this. And then we go, Lisa, I can help Lisa remove pain. Okay, so we got that. And then put down any other things you learned from the talks, put them down in the same sheet here. Because you're putting in data now. You're putting in data. So when you did all of this, you're gonna have like, let's see here, we got also Otto, and we got Mogens, and we got Lars, some pretty cool Danish names, huh? And you just fill it out. So when you're finished, you're gonna have like 15 till 25 talks where you put all the data in here. Just take the few words like I did here from the talks, put in the data, because we're looking for something special here, and this is gold for you. This is gold for you. So once again, if you're changing your niche, or if you want to refine it, if you want to really figure out what is the bullet, I really think this is the best way to figure out how we can help them, how we can become an expert. And if you are in business, if you already have customers, you're still here because you want to grow your business. So if you have no problem with sales at all, if that's just working for you, cool for you. I would still go through all of this. I will do this, and I will, if you even have a team doing sales, don't let them do it, because that could give a lot of confusions unless you really know your team. But you could, when they're out, you could ask them to ask a couple of questions that you help them define to your customers, so you learn about this. Else you do this, and then you share your experiences with your teams. Let them understand that where we're going. This is so powerful, so powerful. So let's come back to our slide here. So this niche from theory to practice worksheet. Go through it. We just did that, and you should do the same thing. Go through it, and then now just write your 15-minute question conversation. So take from your niche market, the one you did in the previous videos about sales, and use the sheet we just went through now, from theory to practice, and then think, what are your questions? What are the questions that you want to ask the people on the 15-minute call? put in the questions, and just like having 4 or 5 questions, and write your standard. You can go back in the video and see the standard that I put in there, but write your standard. How should the 15-minute call be for you? And then if there's something in the niche from theory to practice worksheet, we just went through it. If there's something in that one where you want to change some of the things that I put in, you're free to do that, of course. Just really understand that what we're looking for is the pain, the problems, and desire. So please go ahead right now, use your alarm clock and set it to 7 minutes, no more than that, and just write your 15-minute question conversation, maximum 7 minutes, and then come back. And welcome back. So by now you should have like an agenda for your 15-minute question conversation here, and you should also have 15 to 25 customers or people from your niche that you want to talk to. So now it's just about doing it. Call. Work really hard on this. Call up, email. Make sure that you get 15 to 25 people or potential customers or your customers that you actually have a 15-minute call with. Do that. And I understand that it could be, whoa, that's a lot of time and all of this. I do understand. But do this. This is like really the foundation of building, creating, crafting a sales funnel that is very powerful. So do this work now. Do the work. Put in the data and then come back, and we're gonna do have even more fun, but also even more powerful stuff here. So see you when you did this. Now, welcome back here. By now, you should actually have collected data from 15 to 25 people. And we did go through the theory to practice worksheet. So you should have put in your data in that worksheet. And this is very, very interesting because it's very important that you really understand what we are looking for here is in our daily life, in our business life, there's noise all over us. I mean, we got customers coming with their ideas. We got feedback from them. We got feedback from our team. We read the papers, see something on Facebook. There's noise all over us. And that's how life is. That's how business is. Nothing wrong with that. But we want to work smart here. So what we are looking for with what we're doing right now is, with all the noise around us, we're looking for that pattern where we can help. So we are looking for that problem, that desire where we can help our niche. So by now you should have gotten like a conclusion for now. What is the problem that you're helping your niche with? What is the desire that you can help them with? You should have that conclusion right now. And if not, I really suggest you to go back and do some more 15-minute calls, figure out some more problems and put them in the theory to practice worksheet. And so you really want to figure out, okay, what is the pattern here? When you got that, you got a conclusion. And let's stay with the painter's example. And let's say, okay, I did my, let's say 20 calls, and I see that 17 out of 20 painters, they actually do have a shoulder problem. And I know that I can help them. So this is powerful. I hope you got it right now. And hope is a good word for me to keep saying, because you're gonna learn something about that later on. So good. We're gonna take this to the next step now, because we're gonna talk about the offer. And I'm gonna talk about the value of packaging your offer. You should have, once more, have your niche, and you should have your pattern. If not, you need to find that. You need to work with that, because that's going to help you so much here. Instead of just shooting all around, spending your time on a lot of different things, we're creating one bullet here. So how to craft your offer? Well, there's two different ways from my experience what I did, and I'm gonna dive into those. I created the cleaning company PlusRen and went from 0 to 60 people in less than 4 years, and we had one way of doing it. I'm gonna talk a little bit more about that when we talk about the offer and the sales funnel. And we're going to dive more into the in next week, where I talk a little bit more about the meetings or the calls with potential clients. But that's one way. That's the PlusRen way. And then there's a slightly different way, which is the one that I'm using now. And I will teach you both of them, so you can take the things that you think will be best for your business, the biggest learnings or ahas, and create the offer that will be most powerful for your business. So the other one is the coaching or consultant way, and we're going to dive into both of those. Some important things about your offer, and also if you remember from the video about the biggest mistakes when we're talking about selling, never talk about hours. We don't want to put a limit on your business talking about hours. It's a big mistake. There's a lot of entrepreneurs doing this. I really suggest you don't do it. We want to take it away from the hours. And what is the reason for this? Well, maybe I mentioned it before, but let's say the painters from the example we just had, let's say they work alone. So, and they really have a dream about becoming financially free. They have a big problem, because it might be that they can do 1,000 krona or 200 euros. Let's stick with the euros here. 200 euros per hour. I think that's pretty cool for a painter. So, but the big problem is that this painter, let's call him Peter again, he only has so many hours as he do. So there is a limit on his income. So we don't want to talk about hours. And the next thing is, what we really want to figure out here is, how can you help, the big word here is help again, your customer or client from A to B, and with least effort. And that's very important here, with least effort. So one of my clients, yes, you'll see him in the group. He had kind of an idea when he went through the 8-week program. So he has a painting company, and then he was like, some of his where he painted some of his the people he worked with, the buildings or something like that. They asked if he could help them with something else, and before he would never have done this. So he was like, well, I can actually help you. So what he did was starting kind of a business in his business, where he got some people from other countries than Denmark, but that were really willing to, and he still, they got their salaries. He got a great team out of this, but he rented those people out. So he didn't have to do any work by himself. He rented the people out. The people, they were happy because they were getting work, and his business partners, they were happy because they got their problem solved. And yes, we're happy because he built his business this way. He made money this way. So this is kind of an idea. How can you solve a problem without being too much involved? How can you help? And then think value. Stop thinking anything else. We need to think value. So let me give you some examples here. And this is also examples from clients I work with. So I know this. Some people need to change their mindset here. And you need to find your own value examples. So these are examples. Let's say your niche is accountants. And let's say that the problem for this niche is leadership skills. And that's what you're going to help them with. And when we dive into the problems, let's say the problem is turnover. They hire a person, and the person is actually stopping after a year or 6 months. And let's say the problem is stress. And let's say the problem is people not performing. So the old way of looking at this is, okay, I'll come in and we make an agreement and I will work with you for 10 hours. And that's going to be like, let's say it was 200 euros per hour. That's going to be 2,000 euros. Got it? That's 10 hours, 2,000 euros. But let's take it away from this way of thinking and let's look into the whole new era of sales here. Because what we want to do, and this is very important, so take notes of this, we want to look at their problem instead. So we want to see, okay, how much does this cost our accountant? He's taking in a person, and that could be, I don't know, 10,000 euros might be. That's the cost of it, 5,000 euros, whatever, 5,000 euros, let's say that. And he takes in a person, the cost is 5,000 euros, the whole process. We know it's going to take 6 months before the person is performing. And then from the stress in his team or her team, people are sick. So let's say that cost the accountant, let's say that cost the accountant 3,000 a month. And he has like, or she has like, the accountant has 6 months with sickness at 3,000 per month. So that's 6 times 3. That's 18,000 plus what it costs to get the person in. And then they're not performing. So all in all, what we want to figure out is the problem that the accountant has not having good leadership skills actually on a year could cost the accountant, let's say 20 or 30,000 euros. So now we can think about value. If it's that cost in a year, how much would the value be for you to solve that problem for the accountant? Got it? So if you like, instead of saying, okay, I'll work with you 10 hours, but if you like create a program where you will work with the accountant, and that program will help the accountant to build the leadership skills that will solve his or her problem. So now it's not about how many hours. Now it's about solving their problem. And again, if that problem cost them, let's say 30,000 per year, and then they solved their problem, how much value would it be that you solved that problem for them? Would that be 10 hours times 200 euros? Or could you say it in another way? Well, I built this program and I will solve that problem for you so you can handle your own. And you just told me that's worth of 30,000 in 1 year. My price for this would be like, let's say 10, let's say 15, whatever, 5. Doesn't really matter right now. This is just to give you the examples of value. And again, lawyers, another example. Let's say your niche is lawyer and the problem is they have stress. And this is facts. So this is something that I actually did look into. Lawyers, they do have stress, and which means that they will not be very effective. It means that this will affect their performance. And the fact is that lawyers really die early. Really die early. Go Google it for your country, but the thing is they die really early. So you again, what is the cost for a lawyer who has stress, who doesn't have a great and loving family around them, who's only working and who's dying early? How is it? These people, they make a lot of money, but they die like, even 40 or 50 years old. So why is it that they want all of those money? If you could solve that problem and actually help them so they lived like 20 more years, 30 more years, what would be the value of that for these people? So if you took and said, okay, they will, in general, average, a lawyer dies when he's, it's just for the example, say he's 50 years old, in average. So let's say that you could help them and they actually went like 70 years old. That's 20 years more. times the profit that they would make. That's a lot of money. And if you could help them live longer and even be happier and great family around them, what would be the value for them? See, here again, if you said, okay, my cost is like 200 euros per hour, or you're saying, well, I have this program, and when I work with you with this program, I'm going to help you to unleash the stress, and the outcome of that would be that you live longer, and that's what my clients actually see. And if we calculate on it, the worth, the cost for you not living or being like this, you just told me that's like, let's say 200,000 euros. And you're like, my program, that's 10,000 euros. See? It's not about the hours anymore. It's about the program and solving their problem. This is just examples to get your mind thinking here. So we could also take another one. Woman plus 35, no kids. Big problem too. Big problem. I had clients in this situation. I worked with people in this situation. These women, they really are not in a good situation in their life. They're desperate if they want kids. And I showed you that photo of the IVF, which is a market industry where that industry helps women or couples to get pregnant, to get kids. It's a huge industry. So maybe it's not like, well, for this woman, she could earn more or anything. No, this is more like a feeling thing. What is the worth for her to have kids? Have a kid. This is something, from my experience, sometimes these feelings, problems, where it's a feeling, it's actually much more worse than a money problem. Because this is something, if you can help, now this is an example with the woman plus 35, but if you can help these people somehow to get rid of that really the feeling that's destroying their life, that's worth a lot. And again, it's not about hours. You're creating a program that can help them, or your product can help them, your service can help them. Got it? That was some examples here, value examples. I'll give you some more. I really want you to get this one. So, and you need to find your own with your product or service in your niche. So this is like a pizza. I just Googled it, and it's like the average is 70 krona if you go out and buy a pizza and take it home, which would be like 9.5 euro. The ingredients in the pizza, and I think I'm even a little high here, that's like 20 kronas, like 2.7 euros. So, well, this is a package, right? There's a problem. I don't have time, or I don't want to, so I'm not doing my own pizza, and I can't even do it as good as they can when I go out and buy it. So I will pay more than it cost me to do the pizza. I will pay for other people to package it. I get it in a package. It's all hot. It tastes good. I can go home and I can eat it right away. Got it? So I could do it myself. It would be cheaper, but some people packaged it and they serve it to me. Another example, and it was a little bit more difficult to find the prices here, but I think you get the picture. This is value examples. You need to find yours, because here's nuts. So there's different kind of nuts here. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 5 different kind of nuts. So if you go, this is pretty smart actually, right? There's a problem. Well, I like some of the nuts, but I don't want to buy a package with only one kind of nuts, because that's not, I get tired of the nuts after eating 10 nuts. So people find out, companies find out there's a problem, so they packaged the nuts. Okay, we'll do like 5 or 6 different nuts in a packet, and we solved that problem. You don't eat the same nut, you got different nuts. And again, if you look at the prices, I don't have the prices here, but if you go in a supermarket and you buy a package with nuts, you will see that that package is probably a little bit more expensive than if you actually just took one package of nuts. Same grams and all of this, because they solved the problem for you. So this is packaging. So again, for you, what we want to figure out, what you want to figure out is, first of all, the big thing here is you help your niche to get from A to B. You help your niche to get from A to B. I showed you some examples, the painters with the shoulders, the accountant, let's go back, the accountant with the leadership skills, the lawyer with the stress, the woman plus 45. These are 3 different niches, and if we take the painter to, it's 4 different niches, 4 different problems. And even in the niche, there's different kind of problems. The painter could also have a problem with his leadership skills, or problem with his wife. You are looking for that problem where you can help. Don't solve it all, solve one problem. So that's what we're doing here. You're helping your niche to get from A to B. So I told you it was 2 different kind of offers that I work with, and my clients, they also did their own offers. Out of all of this, how can you create an offer with a great package and solving a problem, giving a lot of value to your customers, and do it as easy as possible for you? That's very important too. PlusRen as an example. What we did, the package was a monthly cleaning. So what we did was, we came out, we gave an offer, we signed a contract. The contract was not how many hours we spent. The contract was not what they paid us per hour. The contract was on an ongoing basis. We cleaned their office or shop or cinema or whatever it was. We cleaned it. So I had my calculation saying, okay, I need that many hours, and they're gonna pay me, so I know what I would earn on each contract in the cleaning company. I knew that number, and I also the way we structured the contract was, it was on an ongoing basis, and if they wanted to cancel the contract, then they needed to. There was like a 3 or 6 month termination period. That's ongoing. That's systemizing products. That's systemizing. We talked about that earlier too. You really want to figure out how can you systemize your business. And we want our customers to come back and back. So here's a question for you, and you can pause the video and just spend a couple of minutes on this. How can you make it an ongoing business in your business? How can you make it an ongoing business? Like, how could you do like with the cleaning company? We cleaned month after month, so we know we got the contract. I knew my numbers. I knew my profit on each contract. So I knew that each time I signed a new contract, it would be more money each month. How can you make it an ongoing business in your business? And then the other example here, I just talked a little bit about that. So if you are in coaching or consulting, or maybe you're helping people growing their businesses with ads or Facebook or something like that, how can you create a package, a program, a service, or maybe an ongoing, like I shared with PlusRen? But how can you give most value solving the problem, and again, where you are not limiting your own hours? That's a question for you right now. You can pause the video, take a couple of minutes, and just work more with this, because maybe it's not coming now, but the fact is, when you got this, when you figure out how to do this, you are you're really starting on a new journey in your business. Maybe you even did it, but you find out a small thing you could change, which would help you. So I really suggest spend the time and just think about this. So again, how can you systemize the process? This is where, like we talked, if you really want to build a business, we want to make sure that you are not your own limitation. So some ideas. You could have partners or contractors that help you solve the problem. So you just sold your service, And then you have contractors to solve the problem. Contractors to do the work. So in PlusRen, we did have on some of the contracts, we had subcontractors, guys that had their own cleaning company. For some reason that was easier or better for us and would help the customer even more, and we put those people to do the work. So we didn't have to think about sickness, we didn't have to think about anything else than they doing the work. And you could do that. In most businesses, it's possible to do the same thing. From my clients, people have, again, a painting business. Well, you could have a contract with another painter who's doing the stuff. So if you're really good at selling, could be that you only want to have yourself or your team in one area, but then you could agree with subcontracts. Just make a very clear agreement on how this works so they don't steal anything from you, but also let them know that if they do a good job, you'll provide them with more, and you even help them to build their businesses. You'll show them how to do this. So that's one way, partner or contractors. And even for people who's doing something online, again, you could have partners to do the stuff for you. So you just sell it, get somebody else to take care of it. You don't need to think about it. Make sure they do their job. You pay them and make sure your customers are satisfied. Very easy. Don't get too emotional about these things. The next thing, team and employees. Well, hire people to do some of the work. We talked about that in the how to grow. Hire people to do some of the work which would give you more time to really boost your company results. And we're gonna talk more about team and employees later on. So I'm gonna give you some very powerful tools later on. Then we talked about packaging your products or services. Very important thing. Figure out how can you package. So it's not about the hours, it's about the problem that you solve, the value that you bring to your customers. And again, if we talk about the offers here, less is more is very important. I got 2 examples for you. One is from Baresso, and actually this is like, Baresso is a coffee shop company in Denmark, now it's sold and it's another name. But one of our big things was when we put a new item, a new drink on the menu, it was very important for us to take something out also. And even sometimes we took 2 things out and put 1 in, because we don't want to complicate our business too much. It's very important. Figure out how can you serve your customers as easy and effective as possible. An example for this, Stine, who's in our group, a client of mine who's doing catering. She has a great company delivering great services. One of her big issues was that she was running around herself, really, and like you maybe saw her in one of the ads or something, she was like the chicken without the head. She was doing good, but she couldn't handle it. There was too much. And we actually had a conversation about this, the Baresso example, and Stine was like, yeah, sure, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm too complicating my business. I really need to figure out, instead of doing 20 things for the pre-course and 20 things for the main dish and 20 things for the dessert, I'll need to put it down to 3 things. That's simplifying and that's systemizing, and that's gonna help Stine a lot. So again, what we want to do, what you want to do, is figuring out how can you help people or businesses to get from A to B and the easiest way. It's gold when you figure this out. So now it's your time to do some work here. You're gonna craft your offer. So I want you to take 10 minutes and write your offer. And I understand it might be that you don't have it perfectly yet. It might be there's something that you really don't know or something, but I would still say to you, do it. Just put it down and don't worry too much, because what we're doing now is we're narrowing the whole process down. narrowing it down. So we want to figure out what is your offer, so when we begin very shortly to take action, we do already have an offer. But get the basis offer written down now. So take 10 minutes and just craft your offer and then come back. Enjoy that and pause the video. And welcome back. So by now you should also have crafted your offer. So I'm going to take this and really talk about the root. That's going to be a sentence that's going to help you a lot. The root. We talked about the root in week 1, trees and roots and results. So right now you are at a point where you know your niche and you actually have a very good idea in theory, but you also talk with 15 to 25 from your niche. So you found the problem or the desire in your niche. You found that. So, and you also created your offer now. So we are very close to taking this and going live. One thing here is the root of all of this. This sentence that will help you. Let's dive into this. Comes here. It's called like this. I help blank with blank by blank. So it could be, if we take the painter's example, and this again is just an example, I'm just taking it up right now without thinking too much about it. I help painters with relieving their shoulder pain by massage or by my 6-week no more pains program. That was a better one, the last one. So I help painters relieving their shoulder pains by implementing my 6-week no more pain program. Like that. Just an example. This one, some hints about this one. This one, you need to create this so it fits your industry, because this is your bullet. And we talked about the bullet before, how powerful the bullet is, and you want to keep it simple. You want to keep it as simple as I did. So here, write your root sentence, 3 minutes right now. Pause the video and do it right now, and then come back. And welcome back. So by now, you should have written your I help blank with blank by blank. You put in your stuff here, your niche, what is the problem, how do you solve it? That's your offer. That's your bullet here. Good, so you did that. So where do we use this? A little depending on your business, but you can refine this. I would do it actually whatever business I'm in. Put it on Facebook, put it on LinkedIn, put it on your website. And just an example for you, this is my Facebook. So if you look here, I put in here, I help business owners grow their business by implementing proven strategies. You heard me saying this before. Yeah, that's my root sentence. On LinkedIn, I help business owners grow their business by implementing proven strategies. So why is it that this is so important? It's again because we don't want to go and shoot all over the place. We want to have the one bullet. We are creating a business where you can scale it, no limits, and also we don't want to spend too much time. So you'll figure out, whatever your business is, how you can use this in the best way. And why do we put it these places? Well, we talked a little bit about this before, but let's really understand that even though you are doing something for other businesses, it's still people. And people will do their research. So if you have a call, if they come and see you in your shop or whatever, they will still do the research. So if they go and look at your profile on Facebook or LinkedIn or your website, and they see a lot of different things going on, well, they will be confused. And confusion means that they won't buy anything. And if they do, you're just lucky. So what we want to do is the bullet. So on Facebook, they go and check you out on Facebook and they see, well, okay, I help painters to relieve their shoulder pain by implementing my 6-week or whatever, by implementing my proven shoulder pain program, whatever your sentence is. Put that on Facebook. They go and check you on Facebook. They see that there. Put it on LinkedIn. They see that there. And put it on your website. Make it very simple. Just that sentence. And so I'll, again here, just let us do these things. We want to create some results here. So take 10 minutes, pause the video and go in and put your sentence on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on your website. And if there's more places you want to put the same in, do it. Take 10 minutes and do it right away. And welcome back. So by now you should have put in your sentence in. I help blank by blank. So let's move on here. And if you didn't do it, I really suggest you go back and do this. It's very important, very important. This is the bullet. So next step here, we are going to craft your sales funnel, your sales system. So I'm going to share some more. This is fundamental stuff. This is very important. I'm going to share something more with you here. This is the funnel that we had in PlusRen. The first thing we did was contact potential customers. What we offered them on that first contact was a meeting. And on the meeting, what our goal was there was to present an offer to them. And then we wanted a contract. So that was the funnel that we did. And there's a reason why it's called funnels. I'll show you later on. The important thing here is to really understand that when we talk about making contact, I'll dive into that in a moment, but that could be sales calls, could be calling up, some people call it cold canvas. I don't like that word, but we call up potential customers. And now, I talked with salespeople before and I also talked with entrepreneurs. When we talked about this, they were like, well, I don't like to call people up because this is too aggressive and all of that. And I said, okay, so what are you doing? Well, they called them up and they asked if they could do a contract. They didn't really know what they were doing. So we want to take a couple of steps before we get to the contract part. Now this was the PlusRen model, because why did we want to do a meeting? We want to go out and we needed to look at the offices that we needed to clean. We needed to look at them, and also we wanted to build a relationship with the potential client. And we couldn't, sometimes we could, and if I could, I did it, or salespeople did it, but we couldn't normally just present the offer right away because we needed to figure out what is the hours here, who can do it and all of that. But if you can do the offer right away, I would do that. I would really suggest that. And then from the offer on, it was about closing the contract, which means a new customer. So there was these 4 steps, but it was not going from 1 till 4. It was a clear system. We knew that our first contact, the purpose was a meeting. The meeting, the purpose was to figure out if we were a match and if we could send them an offer. And the offer, the purpose was a new contract. So that was the model. And a new contract, that meant ka-ching, money. And again, with the PlusRen example, I knew that, okay, it could be that this was only like 200 euros for one contract, but it was on an ongoing basis. So I knew that was how we built the business actually. We just had a lot of contracts with 200, 300, 400 euros in profit. A lot of those. You should get the picture now. And actually when I did, because I don't do it anymore, but when I did seminars or speakings, I always asked, and this was mostly the guys, I said to them, okay guys, so you're at a disco, you are younger, you're at a disco or a bar, and you see this woman and you really, really like her. And you're a guy, so you were younger, so how many of you know this? And all raised their hands. So I said, okay. So you see this girl and you really want to do something. Or what do you want to do? And they were like, oh, okay, I was a little drunk and all of that. So I just wanted to, I really want to, get her home. Okay. Then I asked, how many of you got that? And kind of some of the guys took their hands down, but most had their hands up. I said, okay, so if you go and approach that girl and you just ask her, you want to go home with me? That's like going from 1 till 4 in the funnel example here. And then I asked, so if you did like that, did you experience? Some of the guys actually did experience this. I said, okay, what was your result? Not very good. I said, sure. So let's take it a little bit more serious here and say, okay, so what did you actually do? Well, okay, we kind of, just for the example, we built a funnel for that and having fun. So, okay, first of all, I invited her for a drink in the bar. We talked. Okay, cool. So why did you do that? Well, okay, first of all, I want to impress her a little, but I also wanted to get to know her. It's very important. That's the meeting part here. To know her, because maybe we don't like that person, or maybe there's not a fit. There's no reason of taking it further than right now. But if we figure out, okay, this is actually pretty cool. Could be some more steps. Maybe they invited her to have a dance and all of that. But then the next step could be invite her for a cup of coffee another day, and then 1 or 2 meetings after. Okay, then we get a little bit more intimate. Because we got to learn the person and we figured out, by the way, this is a person that I actually want to build a future with. So that's kind of the steps we're doing here. I hope it makes sense. That's real life from seminars, so it's not something I'm inventing here. So the next thing is when we created our funnel, it's very important. We want to make sure we track everything. You want to know your numbers. So if you're like building your business with doing this kind of a sales funnel, know your numbers. So this is like an average from Plusren. I knew, because we tracked everything, that 1 day of calling would be like an average of 140 calls. And cleaning business is very tough. So we knew that, okay, that would be 3 meetings per day in average. 3 meetings per day, which meant that it would be like 15 meetings a week, which was very much into the 2 days. Maybe you remember it from the presentation video, the 2 days that I set aside to do meetings. So that fitted out because I planned it like that. And we also I knew that when I presented the offer on the meetings, I would have like 80% of the meetings I could present an offer. And at least we know an average after doing this. I tracked that for, I think, 2.5 years. I had very good month, I had bad month, and then I had salespeople in. But the total of us from the offers we presented, we got 30% closed. So I did my coaching beside it and did my seminars. If I didn't do that, I would have done like 3 or 4 days per week doing meetings, which would mean that I would, like from this example, I would have like maybe even, let's say 7 till 15 more meetings per week. And again, I knew 80% would be an offer and 30% would be a contract. So I could calculate how much do I want to grow my business, either by my own time or training a salesperson. Very important that you begin to measure the same things for your business. Even if your sales funnel is not like direct calls or direct outreach, which I'm going to teach you in a moment, you have like a shop and it's a little different for you. Still track the numbers, because we want to understand what's going on in the business. It's so important. So this is another example. This is a coaching consulting example. First one is contact. Second one is a phone call. You know that, you've been there. And where I figure out what is the problem and I present the offer. And third thing is a contract. New customer, new client. 3 steps, nothing more. We don't want to go in and have 4 calls, 4 meetings, blah, blah, blah. And 6 months later, the customer says, well, I don't need it anymore. Or I don't want it. Or I'm so happy about your time and all of that. That's what really messes businesses up. We want to control the process. We want to design our funnel, and we're going to figure out how to say the right words so we'll get clients in or customers in, and we build our business. Makes sense? So if you do all of this correctly, you find your niche, and we went through the Serena example. And I know that I could have taken a Danish tennis player, which is very, at least in Denmark, up in the news because she is one of the best right now. But Serena is still the one who's earned the most, as I can see it. So there's a Danish tennis player, Caroline Wozniacki. Just to mention it for the Danish people looking at this video. I didn't forget her. I'm so proud of her. That's a winner. So you picked your niche and we got the offer. That's you being the specialist, solving the problem in that niche. And this is massive impact. This is massive impact. We don't want to go all over the place. You're going to be a specialist now, because this is money for your business. That's what we're going to do. So now you should craft your funnel. And this, I know from experience, this doesn't take a lot of time. You can just go back and you can look at the funnels I created here, like suggestions, so you can see them. Just draw your funnel, pen on paper. Take 4 minutes, pause the video, draw it right now, and then come back. And we'll come back. So by now you should have crafted your funnel, your sales funnel. So we're gonna take it a step further now. You craft your funnel, you got your fundamentals right, we know the niche, we know the problem. So first step in the funnel is probably contacting potential customers. So we're gonna dive into this right now. There's different methods and some ideas for this. Could call people up and say, hey, this is Michael, I'm blah 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 blah. We're gonna dive into that. You could also connect with people on LinkedIn or Facebook. I got clients who really got this, and within the 8-week program, they had like more than 1,000 people that they connected with. You can do emails, and I just want to tell you, if you do that, I don't want to suggest anything else, but just make sure that it's within the law in your country, and then do what you feel is the right thing to do. But it is a kind of a way to approach people and businesses. And then you can send mails. I'm going to go through these examples, so I'm going to help you as much as possible here. And you can also do presentations. I'm not going to spend time on this here, but if you want to look into that one, you can just ask me on one of the Q&A calls. So I did this before. Like, a presentation is that you invite people and you do a 30-minute speech. And you tell them how you solve the problem and all of that. And then by the end of that speech, you give them an offer. And the offer could be having a meeting with you, setting up a call with you. So that's part of your funnel, doing a presentation. That presentation could also be a webinar. So I'm not going into these things here because it's a little bit more advanced. But you can just you can ask about it, and if it helps you, if I can help you, I'll sure do that. And then there's some more advanced things, and that's like creating Facebook campaigns and all of these things. And from my experience, you want to wait until you got it really solid. So when you know exactly your niche, your problem, and you did get a lot of clients and customers in with that, you could go further and create that. So I didn't put it in this program. It's more advanced, and I actually didn't really do this in Plusren. In the 4 years where we created the 60 people in the team, I didn't spend any money on advertising. No money spent. Ask me on a Q&A call, how did I do that? So I'm teaching you the sales funnel here. So again, calls, connect on LinkedIn, Facebook, emails, mails, presentations. This is all part of the first contact, and we're putting these people in the funnel. Like when you saw my numbers, some of them will take the offer of having a meeting, and some of them will be clients. And a lot will not be, and that's okay. Don't think that you can get everyone hooked up. Doing this right means customers, it means business, and it means money. So some ideas for contacting. I call it direct outreach because that's what we're doing. We are reaching out and we're doing it direct. So it's not a commercial, it's not a campaign on Facebook or AdWords or something. We are directly contacting our customers, potential customers. So there's the calling, and for that we need a short pitch. Call people up, we don't know them, and we present what we're doing and invite them to a meeting or a longer phone call. There's a short written message, and then there are the presentations. I talked a little bit about it and I will not go into it now. Just as I said briefly, that's a kind of a way also to build a business. We're gonna dive into the pitch and we're gonna dive into short written message, how this is working. And again, remember this root sentence: I help blank to blank by blank, because you really need this for the next step here. So some ideas. First of all, be friendly. In everything you're doing, be friendly. And second thing is connect with people, connect with them. Even when you're writing with them, connect with them. See if you can feel them, see if you can come from their side, not your side. And present your purpose. Don't go too much around. Don't be afraid of telling them what is your purpose, and then ask if they're interested in more. Because if you did your homework very good, you know the problem and you know how you can help them. So don't think about you. You want to think about them. You only want to think about them. What we are finding out here is if who of the niche is there a match where you can help them with their problem. So let's dive into the pitch. First of all, why is it called a pitch? Well, the story is that there's different stories, but the story here that I will share with you is that many years ago, but in the big business cities, let's take New York, these very tall buildings, people were coming up and meeting, maybe for a job or maybe for a job, like they were being hired, or maybe they were going to sell something, and then they met with the boss, and the boss told them, well, you can pitch your stuff, and when we are at my level in the building here, if I think you're doing it good, we can have a meeting, and if not, I'm sending you back down. So it was called an elevator pitch. That's why it's called a pitch, elevator pitch. The next thing, energy. I want to talk about energy because there's like different ways of pitching. And I tried different things and I work with people trying different things. One thing is in PlusRen, we put a lot of energy in our calls. We really wanted to like shake people when we called them, so we were different. So we were like, hey, hello, this is Michael from PlusRen. We are the largest company in all the area of Copenhagen, and blah, blah, blah. Fastest company, whatever we said. A lot of energy into it. That energy was like, very like, whoa, that's interesting. It infected people when we talk with them. So that's kind of a way to do it, depending on your products and the niche and all of that. And there's also another way of doing it, and that is, well, the energy could be maybe more like we're coming from a serving heart. We want to serve people where there's a match. So, for instance, as you might have noticed on the calls that you had with me or one of my sales teams, well, we were not very energetic because we were listening. We were listening to the problems. We were listening to if there's a fit. We were connecting. The most important for me here is to really tell that it's about being very, how can you say that? Think about how should your energy be when you call people up. How should your energy be? And then there's important of confidence. This is important because there's been done a lot of investigations into this. And there was like one survey where they asked, like, I think it was like 500 of the biggest CEOs in maybe the States or maybe in Europe. I can't remember. But they asked them, what is the most important thing when you are going to buy into a new deal? What is it that attracts you with the salesperson? And on the top was confidence, that the person they talk with had confidence in their product, in their services, and they could feel that. So if you are scared, if you don't know if it's working or things like that, if that controls you, the person in the other end will feel that. So you need to be confident. And of course that comes with practice, and that's also why I put the mindset and emotion techniques, and the whole week will be about that a couple of weeks from now. But for now it's just important for me that you understand you need to be confident. But don't be too strict with yourself, because it's all about practice. So next thing, how long should it be? Well, from my experience, very short. 30 till 60 seconds, not much, not more. And then put 1 or 2 questions in the pitch. Some people don't do it, they just talk for 30 or 60 seconds. From my experience, it's good to put 1 or 2 questions in, because that makes sure that it's not a one talk. You want to connect a little bit with the people, with the person in the other end. And then very important, tell them the purpose. The purpose is not to get a contract, but what you want to do is, well, the purpose of this meeting is, well, I want to invite you or me to having a meeting with you, or a phone call. A little longer, so that's not what we're doing now. I want to schedule a phone call where we can dive into your business. So you want to invite them to the next step in your funnel. You want to be clear about this. So here's like one way of doing it. There's different ways, but this could be like a help for you. So opening, you present yourself. So this is Michael, I call from Your True Potential. And you could put in why you call here. You could do it a little later too. Then one simple question. I understand that you are the head of the HR in your company. Is that correct? That's a question. So we're sure we're talking with the right person. It's a very simple question. Okay, very cool. Thanks. Could also be if you speak with the owner of a company. Okay, I'm Michael Plusik, and then comes the question. Well, I understand that you are the CEO and the founder of XX company. Is that correct? And say, well, yeah, that's me. Okay, cool, super. So you could do like, okay, I help blank with blank by blank. You could put in your sentence here. And then you could ask them, do you have anyone helping you with what is the problem right now? And then it might be that they say, yeah, I do have someone helping me. And then ask them, how does that work for you? Get into that conversation. See if they are satisfied with the company or person that's helping them. And if no, or they're not satisfied, you can tell me, well, I offer potential clients or customers a free 20, 30, 45 meeting, whatever, consultation where we can dive into your business and see if I can help you to solve that problem. And if there's a match. And then you can just ask them, would that be interesting to you? See what they say. And if they say, yeah, that sounds interesting, you say, okay, then you just go for the meeting. Or you can go a little bit more directly and offer a meeting and just close it by saying, so I help, and then close it by saying, what fits you, and set up a meeting with you. What fits you best, the 11th of June or 12th of June at 10 a.m.? That's the close here, the latest close that I just told you is kind of a little bit more aggressive, but it works pretty cool. And the other one is a little bit more soft. What would would that be interesting to you? And then then schedule the meeting time. You got it? So let's just look at it again. Let us sip in and listen to me telling it again, because this is very directly to the point. We're not wasting any time. We're not giving a long pitch about anything else than we actually telling them that we help their niche with their problems. And we're going to figure out if there's a match for a meeting or a longer phone call. That's it. Very simple, very clear. So right now it's your turn. I'll give you 15 minutes and then write your pitch in your language, obviously. Or if you're going to pitch it to other countries, well, do it in English or whatever the language is. But 15 minutes, and don't spend long on this. So pause the video and go ahead, write your pitch now. And then come back after. And welcome back. So by now, you should have written your pitch. So now you have a sales pitch. Congratulations with that. And we're going to take it a step further here. This is a very powerful video. So I'm going to help you with some also direct outreaches examples, because it doesn't necessarily need to be only by picking up the phone. You could also go with Facebook or LinkedIn, email or mail. And let me give you the examples here. So a short written message, this is an idea. So you could connect with people on LinkedIn or Facebook, or you could send an email. And again, if you're sending an email, just be sure that it's within the laws of your country and make sure you're doing, so you know what you're doing. And if it's on Facebook and LinkedIn, this is a very powerful thing. You can connect with people, and then when you're connected, then you can go with this process, and you can do it you can change it a little bit, but here's like one thing that's working out. So it just goes like, hey, and then the name. I see you are in the industry of whatever your niche is. My area of expertise is helping the niche to buy, and then put in some evidence. Put in a testimonial from one person, a client that you helped. And then you just go to the next one and say, one would be a good fit for a 15-minute phone call. That's it. And then best regards, if that's an email, or if it's on Facebook and LinkedIn, you could do it a little shorter, and you could say, okay, how are you doing? How's your business going? Have kind of 2-3 steps with them, and then go into this one. My area of expertise is helping, put in a testimonial, and one would be a good fit for a 15-minute phone call. That's it. And the 15-minute phone call is just like where you get like 5 or 10 minutes with them. Actually, you ask them a little bit about their business. We did have that. Well, let me see if I can find that. Yeah, so the 15-minute call would be a little bit like this. So you would just tell them that you're helping, and then you would ask them, do you have anyone helping you right now? Ask how that works, and tell them, well, what I offer is either a meeting or a consultation, and then ask if that would be interesting for them. So this is just like the short written message is to get more people into your funnel. And then here is mail, an interesting idea. Why mail and how to do it interesting. Why mail? So this is like a mail, an old mail, an envelope and a letter in it. This is Kære Mette in Danish, or Dear Mette if it's in English. So why mail? First of all, we don't get a lot of mails anymore. Anything is electronical. So when we get a mail, it's kind of a little something different. And most people, they actually do like to get mails. Not if it's invoices, but if it's not, they like it. Look at kids when they get a mail, they're just like jumping up of excitement. My daughter is, and the kids that I know, they have the same thing. So people like getting mails. And we don't get it that much. So this is different. That's what we want to be. And how do we do this interesting? Well, if you receive one of those, it's just not like a small, tiny envelope. This is like a little bit bigger. It's like a, whoa, that's a gift. This is interesting. Can you relate to this? When you get like a package like this, you're like, whoa, that's interesting. What is this? That's why we're doing this, because we want to really make them interested. We want to capture them. So it's called a lump email. So what we will do here, some few good ideas for this is, like you see with the garbage can, we want to put the problem in the mail. So the garbage can could be that you find somewhere on the internet, find a Chinese website, or there's a lot of these things. Google it and find it, and then see, okay, my problem is, it could be the shoulder pain, or in this example, it could be like the accountant who is wasting money on not good leadership skills, getting bad people in his team. So you put in a trash can and you put that in the envelope. So it's in here. That's why it's a little bit bigger. And then you write the letter, same letter as we were into before, put a little bit more into it, telling about the problem, that you notice that a lot of accountants have this problem with their team, they're wasting money, and you find a way to solve that. And then on the back, what you want to do is you want to put in a name, but not like very nice written. You want to have like a woman, a female name on there, or a man name, depending on the person opening it. You want to get them interested. And here, if it was a female name called Teresa, you would get her to do it in red or something like that. So it gets interesting. And also, so the person opening, if you have like in the office, you're sending it to an accountant and he has someone opening his mail. Well, if there is like Teresa on the back and it's a little different, you might get through the one who is opening a mail. She don't want to look into that one. Hope you got it. And again, I use hope. Then, very important, you want to have a take action button in there, call to action. So you write them the letter, you write them what the problem is, and a little bit about how you solve it. Then you really want to tell them what to do. So, okay, so what I offer you is like a free meeting or consultation, so I can tell you more about the problem and how I solve it. And please contact me. Phone number or website you have maybe created on your website, a landing page where people can ask for that meeting, formula for that, or your phone number. And that's how it is. So again, if you figured out the right problem for your niche and you know how to solve it, this is one idea how to get interesting leads, people who could be potential customers. So some important notice for all of this. I know we're covering a lot in this video. First of all, track everything. And I got 2 sheets. I will go through them. Track everything. We have seen, and you built your tracking sheet, and then I created a lead building sheet for you. Second thing is follow up. Don't be shy here, which means that because you send an email and people didn't reply to it, they get a lot of emails, so you don't know why they didn't reply. Just send them one more. Day after, maximum 2 days after, send them one more. Just, hey, I sent you an email and I didn't get your reply. Same thing on Facebook. And if they still don't reply, call them up. Say, hey, it's me, the guy who sent you a couple of emails. I just want to make sure, and then have a talk with them. See if we can get a meeting. Don't be shy. We can't help our potential customers if we're not there for them. And then get massive here. And what I mean by this is one is not enough. No. You want to get massive. You want to really get massive. You want to go out there and do a lot of direct outreach. Not 1, not 5, not 10. You want to do 50 or 100. Get massive. So the 2 tracking sheets, I'm just going to walk you through those right now. I'm going to help you. So they're both to download. Let's see. This one, you know from before. We'll work with this one. So I'm just going to share with you how it could be. Let's say our goal, I'm just going to go into goal number 1. Let's say it was the business goal, and let's say it's to create, let's say 5,000 euros within the next 8 weeks. So now we can begin, because we now know we're going to do, let's say here, at least 100 cold calls per week. Boom. And I suggest you don't do less than that. If you really want to massively explode your business, go heavy on these things. So the next one could be connect with at least, let's say 50 people on Facebook. Okay? Connect with at least 50 people on Facebook per week. And we could do here connect with at least, let's say 25 people at LinkedIn. Okay? And we could also, if you want to send the lumpy mail, we could say send, it takes a little bit more time, at least, let's say 15 lumpy mails per week. Boom. Got it? So this is like we're sending people into a funnel. This is what is going to build our business. So now we're going to be accountable for this. And again, if you are in business and it's a shop or something like this, it might be that you want to do a little different things than this. But again, why not, if you have like a shop, why not go to different kind of businesses, companies, and see if they want to come to your shop? Like in Beresho, we had something for companies. So we had like a neighbor, a discount or something like that. So we approached companies. We went out, we knocked on their door, and we said, hey, this is from Beresho. We got this neighbor deal. You want to be a part of it? And then we helped them with the letters to their employees and how they did it and all of that. And we built the business that way too. So that could be kind of your actions. So just put in these things here. This is the first step in your funnel. And then just to show you, when day number 1, you did like 20 calls, you connected with 20 people, and that was on Facebook. This is on LinkedIn. You connected with 3, and well, you sent 0 mails this day. So you just go on and do these things, and by the end of the week, you will see, okay, now this was from one day. Let's take it further. Let's say 15. Okay, now I got some fire on here just to show you an example. 40, and I did 35 here. Not Saturday, not Sunday. Okay. So now I have been in contact with 141 companies. So I learned a lot. And not all of them will go in and say yes to a meeting. Maybe it's 50%, maybe it's 20%. We will learn. Maybe it's 10%. But let's say you contacted 141 and 10% of them became a meeting. Then you have 14 people that you're going to meet with. Get it? Or if it's 5%, well, then you have 7 people you're going to meet with. And let's say that 30%, like it was with Plusrein, of those people are going to be clients. So that would be like, from this week, that would be like 2 new clients. Got it? Put a lot of energy into this. Do the work and make sure that you track your numbers. One more thing about this. Let's say goal minimum 15 meetings per week. If the meeting was the next part of your funnel, put this one in here. The goal minimum 15 weeks per week, meetings per week. So let's say Monday I did 1 meeting, Tuesday I did 1, then I did 2, and then I did 4 here, and then I did 1, and 0 and 0. So I did 9 meetings out of my goal on 15 meetings. Don't change the goal, but figure out why didn't you do more meetings. And then change one thing, and then go on with the next week. Massive energy into this. You got it? So that was one just to help you with the tracking sheet. Then I said I had one other sheet for you. This is like, I created this lead building sheet for you. So as you see down here, that's a standard, so you can create more months. So you make sure you could call this, I created 1 month for you here. Here, sorry. We could call this whatever, start of month is June. Then make sure that you just take from the standard and copy and set into a new month. Let's go to June. So this is like your lead building worksheet. I just took a couple here to show you how it's working. So company name. Now I went into the painting business here and I found a couple of companies, and then the source I found from Google. This is from network and the websites. And is there a good fit for me to help them from all the work we did? Yeah, it seems like that. The emails to the two people, the contact person, the street, and actually maybe you should, let's see, you could put in the phone number too. That would help you a lot. So anyway, for this first one, I said, okay, I did the first contact. That could be on LinkedIn. I did that on the first, and then contact number 2 was on the 3rd. So this is kind of me to follow up in the process. And then I say, okay, I didn't really hear from them. I saw they read the emails or my LinkedIn post or Facebook post. So I will give them a call on the 4th of 18. I did that. Comments. Okay. Not interested. Or could be, yoo-hoo, meeting or something like that. That could be the comments. So just for you to get this. Then we have the next example. Okay, I go with this one and I said, no, I don't wanna do the mails or LinkedIn or anything else. This is gonna be a cold call. So I just called the person up on the 4th of February, and again, let's say we do some winning here. So we said, okay, we took a meeting. So you're just gonna fill this out down here, because you want to collect all the data from your calls, from your direct outreach. You want to figure out what's going on here. So each thing, put it in here, each contact, put it in, and make sure you got it all there. This is so important for you. So you're gonna have June, July, August, and all the months there. Keep this. This is data for you. Good. Should make sense. And these are downloadable, as I mentioned. So let's go into, good. I just walked through those with you. Should be pretty clear. And else, you got other tools, because this is where you will really begin to do business now. Or if you're changing your business, you should have gotten a lot of ideas here. You are beginning with the new thing here, so you can really, really skyrocket your business. You got the downloadable stuff. And even the picture with the noise and with the, how to figure out where's the problem here, that's also, so you can download it and then print it out and put it out on your wall to remind you. And then again, you got the support. Ask in the Facebook group if you put down I help with, and you're a little bit unsure, just ask them for feedback. How would you say about this? And then jump on the Q&A calls and ask me for feedback, so we can get you moving on this one. So important. So this was a heavy video. There's a lot of stuff in here, and you might want to, I actually suggest you to see it a couple of times, and you can speed it up if you want to. So what we covered was we tested our theories and made conclusions. We talked with 15 to 25 from our niche, and we then concluded what is the problem we can help with. And you crafted your offer now. We talked about the value of packaging. This thing alone could create a whole new business for you. Then I shared with you the root, the sentence that I suggest, and you should already have put it in your Facebook, LinkedIn, and all of this. You crafted your sales funnel, and you got the ideas how to contact your potential customers, which was calls, direct outreach from emails, mails, lumpy mails, Facebook, LinkedIn. and all of these should be put into your funnel. So now there's only one more thing left, and that is to do it. So from now on, if you're working with direct sales, I will begin to challenge you to do these things. No more thinking. Now it's time to test and get feedback from the real live market. Now it's time to create business, new customers, and help them. So again, a lot of these things in this video, and I will see you in the next one. Michael Plusek, bye from this video.